cloud. Here we go.
Yep.
All right, we should be all set.
There we go. Perfect. Moving that off to the side. Can you see the annoying box on the side
No,
there?
it's
Oh,
all
good.
clear.
Okay, good. Oh, can you see it if I do that?
We can see the whole slide.
Okay, so there's no box. Great.
Yes, correct.
That's what I thought happened. So I sent out a one sheet because I always like to have something to take notes on and some takeaways. Because one of the things that I have always found about training is that if I don't take good notes, if I don't come back and look at it again and again, it just disappears. I don't know about you, but kind of been the case. So my name is Mary Hambleton, and I am with Soul Canyon Training and Development. My cohort, Kevin Barrett, is up in Seattle with True North Skills Development. True North
Professional development.
Always mess that up. True North Professional Development. I always just call him True North, just like I always call us Soul Canyon. I forget all the training and development and all those little longer pieces. But True North, Kevin is a fantastic Excel trainer, and he's got a bunch of leadership classes that he teaches and whatnot. But we've been doing this since 2020, and it has been incredibly popular. We've been trying to add new topics because so many of the individuals that are attending are people that have attended for years. And so we want to give you guys some new information. Would you agree with me when I say one has to put time into relationships in order for them to flourish? If we don't, if we do not put the time into our health, if we don't spend time taking care of our health, it fails. If we don't take time taking care of our house, we end up with deferred maintenance and it falls apart. If we don't take time with our job and our careers, we struggle, time and energy needs to go into anything if we want it to flourish. And relationships are no different. And so this is kind of one of my jams, to be honest with you. In 1989, I wrote my own personal mission statement, and it was to connect people to each other and opportunities while I enjoyed the journey and the friends I made along the way. So when I met Rob in 2002, I took his mission statement for Soul Canyon, laid it over top of my own personal mission statement. It really lined up well. And I've enjoyed connecting people to each other and to opportunities. And in any time, it is one of the reasons why I love the chamber meetings and stuff, is because I can connect people to each other. We are hardwired to need people. And I'm going to put my mic on pause for just 1 second.
Mary had a whole bunch of stuff going on all at the same time, repair people showing up and all that. So if you'll bear with us for a moment.
Yay! So, would you agree that we need people? Why do we need people?
I think some personalities need people more than others. I think it really depends on how you're brought up. Um, Me, I'm an outgoing person, and the way I've always been is I've always enjoyed and had that need for human interaction. But there's people that I've met that are kind of like, yeah, I prefer my cats and dogs. Leave me alone. I think it really just depends on the person.
But even those who need cats and dogs, Kevin, need people. They actually do need people. And so even the introverts, they don't want all the people, but they want some people, right? We are actually, according to Maslow hierarchy, Maslow in his hierarchy of needs said, we absolutely at social belonging need people in order to go through life. Uh, it back in the caveman days, it was safer if we were in packs of people, right? We could work together to survive. And that's the only reason us little weak human beings survived over those years, right? But then if you go into, as we started developing more and more of our cognitive abilities, in order to reach your highest potential of self-actualization, you need to have that solid foundation of having the social belonging of people who are actually there for you, that you can count on, that can help keep you safe, that have your back. But the problem is, in my opinion, is so many times time slips away. We have got multiple roles going on in our lives that pull us in every direction but loose. And unless we take time to stay connected, we just kind of like balloons drift away. So I am going to ask you to come up with a few people in that sheet of paper. It says, time can just slip away while we're too busy. List some of the people in your life that you need to catch up with. There's got to be a few people that you can think of that gosh, I wish I would have spent more time with them, or gosh, I wish I had more time. So take a few minutes and jot down one of those long last friends, one of those people that you don't feel like you're spending enough time with. Because we're going to do something.
And Mary, I was finally able to get that worksheet downloaded in there. So if you have not already downloaded that from email, you can easily download it out of chat.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. And oh, by the way, I just sold the car to one of my friends. Does anyone want to share who they want to catch up with?
I need to catch up with my cousin Don. Haven't talked to him in a couple years.
Oh, that is amazing. You know, I've got some ideas on how we can get connected. It was really, we did a 30-year, we did a family reunion that we haven't had for almost 30 years. And I have 15 cousins on one side, and only 2 of them didn't show up. So we had 13 of us that haven't seen each other in 30 years. We're all getting old, and it's kind of like, wow, we're still connected at a certain level, but I've missed so much in their lives. I feel really bad about not staying connected, because I'm meeting their kids and their grandkids, and it's, hearing about their struggles that they're having, and I feel like I could have been more supportive. So since that reunion last summer, we're scheduled another reunion for this coming summer. We're going to start doing it once a year, because apparently as we get older, we need people in our lives, right? Would you agree with this? I'm not talking about just personal life. I'm talking about professional life too. People do business with people they know, they like, they trust, and they value. How can you show people you value them? Anybody ever seen a post on, I love social media. I have a love-hate with social media, I guess I should say. But on social media, a lot of times you'll see things that are happening in people's lives, and it doesn't take but a second. This is one of the things I love about it. It doesn't take but a second to say, congratulations on that new grandkid. Congratulations on your new promotion. That is so awesome. I'm happy you're on vacation finally. You work so hard. Those sorts of things are ways to say, hey, I'm paying attention to you. And it's your attention that makes people feel valued. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Like giving your attention to them, and what's going on in their life, or I'm sorry you're going through that struggle, or do you need anything? Those sorts of things.
Isn't there like a saying that the best gift that you can give someone is your time?
Absolutely. Have you ever read the book, The 5 Languages of Love?
Mhm.
It's an excellent read, and I really recommend supervisors read it, because when you talk about the 5 languages of love, what's important to the people that are in your life is that people have different languages of love. Like mine is gift of time. So if you spend time with me, I truly feel valued and appreciated. Some people, gifts are a symbol of love to them. When somebody gives me a gift, though, I always, because it's not my language of love, it doesn't hit me as it doesn't impact me as much. So understanding those other people's language of love is really important. Some people like touch, words of affirmation. So they like to be congratulated, those sorts of things. So understanding how to make those other individuals in your life feel valued is important, I think. When I talk about the big rocks, if you've ever heard Stephen Covey talk about the big rocks, he talks about the fact that we all have things to do in our lives, important people that are important in our lives. If we don't take care of the important ones, the big ones, if we don't put them in our bucket of life, like we only have 24 hours in a day. So if you have 24 hours in a day, who are you going to give that 24 hours to? Or what are you going to give that 24 hours to? And if you have a big rock that you need to take care of, or you need to connect to, or you need to make feel valued, you're going to have to put that in your bucket, right? And it takes up a bit of space. Right now, I'm going through a thing that I know I can get it done in like 30 minutes, but in order to do it with my parents who are older, it's taking like 2 hours. And trying to plan out and make it so that I have time to take care of those things that are important to them, and because they're important to me, I'm having to rearrange my schedule and what I'm doing with my 24 hours in my day. But if you do all the little things that don't really matter, you can fill up all your time, and there's no time for the big things. They don't fit in that 24 hours. And so oftentimes what we do with the people we really love and care about is we will push them off to the side because they love us and they'll forgive us, right? But how long does it take to be loved, to be forgiven and forgiven and forgiven before you're just forgotten? So make sure you're taking care of your big rocks. I've got some ideas on how we can stay connected, even through a distance. And I just did this with a really good friend of mine up in Central Oregon. Her and I scheduled a happy hour. Instead of going, because we used to get together and we go out for a beer and we just talk and get caught up, right? So we actually connected on Zoom, and I sat in my office and she sat in her office, and we drank a beer together and we talked. And it was almost as good as being in the room together. Almost as good. But I mean, you could do that with your friends, with your cousin, Cole. Connect on Zoom, and that way you can see each other's face, because our communication is more the body language and facial expressions and tone than it is the words we say. So if you write an email, or if you write a letter or whatever, you lose a lot of that human connection. And I think that we're getting better at doing the human connection even on Zoom. So that's just one thought.
Mary, you don't need a designated driver either.
Oh, good point. Good point. Oh my gosh, that's great. I love that. I'm stealing that one, Kevin. No DD. That's great. I realized that I didn't finish the word chat when I was typing that out. It's supposed to say coffee and chat. You can do this, you know, you don't have to carve out a lot of time. You can grab a cup of coffee with somebody. You can grab a cup of coffee over Zoom even.
I don't know, Kevin. She might need a DD from the office. So it depends on how many of those beers you have.
I work out of my home office and Kevin knows that. And so does my friend. So we didn't need DDs, but you could easily do coffee or whatever, but just take a few minutes. One of the things that I'm starting to do, I've just bought a stack of birthday cards. I am been notorious for sending electronic birthday cards to everybody. Like my grandkids, my client, you know, Amazon gift cards, I swear, are like my staple. It's like, oh, it's your birthday today. So I send an Amazon gift card to them. I think the handwritten birthday cards are kind of more personalized and more impactful. What do you guys think?
Mary, I want to, if you don't mind, I would love to just share a quick story on that.
Absolutely.
So my mother passed away probably close to 20 years ago now. One of the things that we were absolutely shocked at her wake was the number of people that came up and said, she always sent me a birthday card. I just got a note from her a month ago, right?
Oh.
When we had our 50th anniversary, she wrote the nicest card. All of these things we had no idea that she was doing, but she made such an impact on people by doing that, and them sharing the stories back to us was really, really great for us to hear at a time when we were mourning her death. So
that is so cool. You know, I have moved 3 times in the last 4 years, so I've moved a lot. But in the Christmas stuff, in my Christmas decorations, I have a stack of Christmas cards from every year. I take down all the Christmas cards and put them in the year in a Ziploc bag and stick them in my box, my Christmas box. And then every year I pull out some of those Christmas cards and look at them. And so it's really fun, especially the ones that have pictures, to see, you know, the progression of people's kids or whatever. Super fun. Birthday
Mary,
cards.
can I say something?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. That's what we do here in the office with our clients. Every month I handwrite. We have a list of our clients, their birthdays, and I send those off to them every month. So like right now, I got February's out. I'm gonna work on March birthdays. Yeah, and that's a way of saying like we're thinking of them, and yeah, we just send them out every month.
such a
The birthday
nice
cards.
personal touch. That's awesome.
Yeah, we like
Not
to do it
only that-
old fashioned here. I handwrite them.
And you handwrite your thank you cards, because I got a thank you card from you.
Yes, we do thank yous, birthdays, and yeah, like all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Well, and for business, it keeps you front of mind too.
Yeah.
Because people do business with people they know, they like, and they trust, and they value. And so you showing that you value them
Yeah.
is really important. I love that about what you and Melissa are doing.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
So birthday cards, girls trips. Okay, so sorry guys, or even guys trips. I guess I should put guys and girls. I'll make it more politically correct. But girl trips, because we oftentimes like to do things differently than the guys do, or vice versa. And so just trips with your high school friends or your college friends, the people that you know, hang out with, and just for a night or two, or even an afternoon pedicure or something, but taking time to schedule that together And it doesn't need to cost that much. It doesn't need to be like an elaborate trip to Mexico. And if you do a trip, girls trip to Mexico, please get trip insurance, because as a former travel agent, I travel agent for a year, former travel agent, it was always the girls trip that somebody broke their ankle in those stupid high heels. Somebody came back injured. Tequila and high heels. Oh, mixed with well. Family reunions, I already talked about that, but when was the last time you guys had a family reunion? So I mentioned that I did one, and it has been 30 years. My other side of the family, because you have two sides, and then your spouse usually has two sides too. My last family reunion, I can't remember when it was. So I was a little girl, the last family reunion that actually happened on that side of the family. And that's sad, because I think we know that we inherit a lot of our traits from our families. And at some point in time, we need each other, and we don't know each other. So it's sad. One of my favorites is last minute pop-ins. Like, hey, I'm in your neighborhood. Are you home? I've got, I'm stopping by Starbucks. Do you want me to grab you a cup of coffee and let's chat? Or, hey, I'm going to go walk my dogs. Do you guys want to join us? Or pop-ins.
All the
Kevin.
Gen Z people just shuddered because
I know.
pop-ins. I don't want somebody to pop in on me.
I know. Well, a lot of introverts are kind of that way too. But the initial weirdness. But pop-ins can also be, hey, want to join me here? Right? It can be the other, it can be, hey, I sat down for lunch and I realized I don't have anybody to have lunch with. You're nearby. Do you want to come over?
Impromptu,
yes. The last minute things. It doesn't take a lot of planning, because for some people, especially if you got a lot of balls up in the air, you can't make plans because things fall apart, right? But if you call me and I know, hey, I've got an hour, so don't let lack of planning stop you, is what I'm trying to say. Be impulsive, which I know
sorry, I didn't
Go
mean to
ahead.
cut in. No, I love that idea, because I'm in that area of life right now. And I just realized that recently, I've started telling people that, like, hey, it's not that I don't want to connect. I just have way too much going on in life. And just call me or send me a text, whatever. I'm way likely to have to rearrange if we plan right now, but in an hour, sure, so I love that. But it took me a really long time to realize that, because I also love a good plan. So, but I'm just realizing life is just different right now, and realizing that relieved a lot of stress, because I felt like I wasn't connecting with people just out of it was just one more thing,
Right.
love it.
So I love that.
Well, and
that's for me.
Too many times we get wrapped up in the plan and we think needs to be all this heavy duty stuff. Remember when you were a kid and you just hang out with your friends, where you would say, hey, do you guys want to go do something? Like, now we don't do that anymore. I mean, as adults, we're like, oh yeah, we got a plan. We got to do this. We got to do that. And then 2 years go by and you think, God, I haven't talked to them in years. Right? So if we don't get hung up on the extreme plan and we start acting more childlike and be more playful, I think we'll see that we can be more connected. And have you ever been invited to go do something, like go grab a cup of coffee with somebody you just met? It is kind of awkward in the beginning, but if you step into it a little bit and you open up, all of a sudden you're making a connection, because we are more alike than we are different. I moved to a town, I knew nobody. absolutely nobody. And it took me a while to get connected, but some of those connections are stronger than ones that I've had for years. Right? But I took a chance. And that's what it takes to get connected. Anybody else got other ideas on how to stay more connected? Some favorites?
You know, Mary, as an introvert, I find it difficult to meet new people, which is not always the best thing when you're running business. But what I've found is I have a couple of little coffee places that I really like to go, and I kind of make that part of my thing. Okay, I'm going to meet this person, and I'm going to go to that coffee shop that I like, and I'm going to enjoy the atmosphere, and that helps me to get more into the conversation with the new people and the meeting and all that awkwardness that's there maybe at the beginning. So
Because the place isn't new. They're new, but the place isn't new, right?
right.
Yeah. I have a so one of the things that I've done in every neighborhood that I have moved to is I put together a neighbor list. So I have all my neighbors' phone numbers and email addresses and that sort of thing. And from a safety perspective, it's really handy to have. Like, hey, we got hung up. We're not going to be home for days. Can somebody check to make sure my house is okay? Type thing. Or when we had a neighbor whose tree was falling over onto their house. And it's not somebody that I really know that very well. I went to my neighbor list and called them and said, hey, you need to go look outside because there's a tree that's leaned over your house right now. I don't think it's going to fall immediately, but she's like, oh my God. And it could have, so for safety things. I mean, so that's one of the ideas. Stay in contact with your friends. I think friends make us better people. I really do. I sold this off of Facebook just recently. Hide those floating panels because it's in my way again. The meeting panels keep popping up. But I sold this off of Simon Sinek's thing where it says, good friends make us better people. They cheer us on when we hit bottom and they keep us humble when we reach the top. And I just think that's so true. Having impromptu, one of our friends does invite somebody to dinner every Sunday. So every Sunday they invite somebody new for dinner. And I told my husband, I said, I want to do that. I just think that's such a great way to get a deeper connection and have conversations with people that we normally don't take time to, because we pass them in the hallways and we say things like, how you doing? Oh, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. And we don't really, talk deeper. So I just think I'm going to steal that from Hope. I think that's a great idea. Helping your friend or neighbor out, getting together as a group and helping someone. I've got an elderly couple that's a friend of mine, and I was sharing today at Chamber that moving my mom and dad into the retirement home and doing different things for them, I realized that there's a lot of elderly people within my sphere of influence that need help, that I'm happy to help. I just didn't know they needed help. You know what I mean? So without being intrusive, being able to come together and help them as a group, I think that's really powerful. And see, look, there's Melissa right there, always helping. How about people making friends with people in your exercise and when you're exercising in group activities and group workouts?
I do that. It's usually at the bar, but the exercising, the glass to the mouth, but
Kevin, you and I can hang out. I have, and that's moved to Central Oregon, and that was quite common. So they've got some fabulous breweries there, and so I had a tendency to make a lot of new friends. Hiking is another fun thing to do with friends. I take and meet dog owners at the dog parks, which is fun. strong relationships are built on mutual trust, and that's why coming together and helping someone or supporting their cause, supporting their nonprofit, working together, I think really builds trust. When we think about the people that you know you can lean on or count on in your life, they oftentimes are people that you've worked through issues with, that you've worked together on a project or something, right? And so trying to be that trustworthy friend, that trustworthy person, I think by being that friend, you end up having friends. I love doing fundraisers together. Toys for Tots is one of my favorites to get together. We also did bell ringing for the Salvation Army. Making sure that you take time for the people that are in your lives, the ones that you love and truly connect with, I think is huge. Taking time to do things that you love to do and connect with your friends doing that. What are some of the hobbies? On page 2, it says, what are some of the hobbies and interests that you would like to share with your loved ones? And then what are some of, and then the other ones or hobbies that you would like to learn? So I love concerts. This is me and my friend Rochelle, who I've lost about 10 years ago. And my granddaughter, who she was just a little girl back then, but we were doing concerts in the park in Roseburg. So we actually went to a concert and hung out and got to enjoy music.
You know, one of the things that I'm started doing, I'd say more this year than anything is I recently moved to Oregon about 4 years now. And for the first 3 years, I was taking care of my mom. My mom passed away a year ago.
Sorry.
Thanks. And it took me a year to kind of take care of everything as far as her final wishes and stuff like that. And so now it's like I've had to really find my new role in my own life, because I went from being, you know, married to divorced to taking care of my mom. It's like it was boom, boom, boom. And so what I decided to do is explore Oregon, because I haven't done it. The whole time I've been here was COVID. It was one thing after another. And so my partner and I now are actually going and experiencing things that Oregon has to offer. Like for one of the things I just bought today was the wildlife safari. We've never been. So we're going to go do the wildlife safari and do the encounter, but we're both new to Oregon. So it's kind of like we've incorporated a lot of it. We've incorporated the hiking, the going to rivers, camping, anything you could think of that could be something fun to do here in Oregon. We've kind of thrown that in there, and then picking and saying, hey, to our friends, do you want to come do this? Heather, do you want to come practice some flashcards over at this campsite? You know, stuff like that. Bucket list. Heather, I hope you caught that.
I did.
You did. And Heather's man is an amazing musician. So there's great music.
Thank you, Mary.
I want to give you a resource, because connecting people is one of my jams. Go to the Visitors Center. And they've got, you know, the Southern Oregon book. They've got waterfall tours. They've got all kinds of really cool stuff.
Thank you.
But
yeah,
Southern Oregon Visitors Association is located in both of the chambers. So
okay.
Grants Pass Chamber, Medford Chamber, well, all the chambers, Roseburg Chamber.
I've been pretty lucky, because working for Hellgate, I get a lot of the river stuff. And then also my aunt's part of the chamber. So my aunt tells me about all these cool places to go to. So, but yeah, thank you for the tip.
Hellgate is a gym. So if you've never done the Hellgate jet boat tour, that's like anybody who comes to Oregon, we're like, you're going down the river.
Here's a fun fact. A lot of people don't know this, but we also have Willamette jet boats in Portland.
Yes, I love that one too.
So
I've done Jerry's, which goes up the road.
Right. So we own Willamette and this one. So very different tours. I'm going up to Portland this year to actually experience it for myself. I haven't done it yet. So kind of one of my bucket things.
We did a team building session in Portland, and they have those canoe things that you can do on the river too. Those are really awesome. So yes, go and experience new things. It's awesome. The where was I going? I was going to share this thing. So my thing is, I got to get back to the right thing. Stop the share. It's a user error. It's not the computer's fault. But let me ask you, what are some of your interests that you could share with somebody? Anybody gone to the makerspace in Central Point? So
What is that?
Cole was there. What did you think?
That's a really cool place. I actually could, if my cousin was to come down here, that would be a great place for us to go. It's all about crafting. They got like new stuff, old stuff, 3D printers. They got CNC machines. They got, woodworking equipment, stuff like that. It's really cool.
So it's Crater Works in Central Point, if you're interested. But it's very cool. Yeah. And you can join as a membership and you can do crafts and that sort of thing. One of the things I thought about is, as we're going to get ready to show you, is generationally, like my dad loved woodworking, right? But he's older and he's kind of scared of his stuff. But that is a much safer, bigger place that I could take him where he could show me what he's doing. Because when you share knowledge with people, it bonds you, right? Does your friend do something that you want to learn to do? So, and it can be anything. Like, I don't know how to do makeup. So I have a friend that's way into the makeup and I'm like, I love what you do, but I don't know how to do that because I've never been a girly girl. I can show you how to do all kinds of crazy guy stuff. Like I weld really well, but I don't know how to do eyeliner. Can you show me how to do? So, but asking your friends, hey, that's really awesome. I would love to learn that.
Yeah, Mary, I have a client actually who is knows American Sign Language and is an interpreter for other languages as well. But she was talking with some friends of hers and they were like, wouldn't it be great to just get together and do sign language? And they did this post on Facebook and they were talking to each other. And I was like, hey, hold on. I don't know anything about sign language, but I would love to, can I do that? And she was like, oh, that would be awesome to have a bunch of people who didn't know. And she literally set it up at a bar here in about a month from now. And awesome. Right. I get to go learn how to do a little bit of sign language. So
I did that with our Hispanic speaking coworkers. I'm like, I don't speak Spanish. Like I can order cervezas and find the baños, but I don't know Spanish. And I would love to learn more, right? And so just crashing their party. I'm a good party crasher. Can you help me learn? I think people love to share their knowledge. But I do want to get back to this screen share because I'm going to talk about something that I don't think we can ever have a conversation about relationships until we talk about a few things. So I want to go in here and talk about generations. I think we've not done our world service by separating people. I think that being able to connect our generations, one of the things that we did during COVID was we taught my parents how to do Zoom and how to do social media so that they could be involved with the grandkids and the great grandkids. If you've ever taught somebody over 80 how to do Zoom, you can realize it's kind of challenging. But once they get it was so wonderful for them because they were so isolated, right? So a lot of times we get isolated or separated from the people that we love, and going there doesn't make sense, or it's not practical to go there as often. So using social media and Zoom and different things to improve your relationship and help them stay connected and see the kids grow up and that sort of thing, I think is really important for the mental health of everyone. We're struggling right now with a lot of kids that have mental health issues or challenges, and they don't feel connected. And I really think that if we took and put the elderly together with the younger generation, that we wouldn't have so many differences and we could learn from each other, right? You remember those people that you played with when you were growing up? They help form who you are and what you're all about. They helps you form your core values, the way you interact, the way you fight even is based on what you learned when you were a little kid. And so and one of the things that Facebook had allowed me to do was reconnect with a lot of people that I had grown up with. I have a friend of mine that came and stayed with me in Central Oregon. And her and I were really good friends from kindergarten, well, second grade, I guess, up to when we got married. And so we kind of lost touch with one another. She moved off to Montana and I stayed in Oregon. We reconnected. And it's so funny to hear the way that she remembers our childhood versus the way I remember our childhood. And for her to tell stories to my kids about what I was like when I was their age. It's kind of a fun little thing to do. I love seeing younger people interacting with their kids and playing with their kids. This is a fundraiser that we were at with one of Rob's coworkers, and she brought all of her little guys with her. Super, super fun to share the things that you love with your family and friends. But people connect when they're doing things together in a fun way, and it can't be just all work, right? You have to have play. You have to bring interesting things. This is when the eclipse was happening. That's why we're all looking like Devo. I just aged myself on that one, didn't I? Anyway, we're all wearing little space glasses because we're looking at the sun for the eclipse, and we were doing a fundraiser for downtown Medford. If you don't take time for the little ones in your life, they have a tendency to grow up and they're not connected to you either. So oftentimes what I try to remind myself is your relationship with the ones that you love is your responsibility. Don't let time just fly by. Now, down at the bottom of that second page, and I need to do a time check. Yep, got 10 minutes. This is perfect. No conversation about relationships is complete without a conversation about setting and maintaining healthy boundaries. Learning to say no is important in all of our relationships. Don't give your power away. A lot of times what happens when I say you stay connected, you do this, you do that, I'm not talking about being a doormat. I'm talking about you connecting to people that help you feel fulfilled, that connect at a healthy level. There are people that will cling to you, right? But we're talking about having healthy relationships and healthy friendships. So I've got a couple of things that I wanted to share with you, and I've got a space for you to write it down. Is when asked, say yes with boundaries, right? Can you help me move? My hide-a-bed down 3 flights of stairs, Unfortunately, I would love to. Yeah. Yes, I would love to. However, I'm not able to lift over this much weight. Saying it early with empathy. I've moved one of those hide-a-beds and they're insanely heavy. I don't admire you for that. That is going to be hard. Supplying another option. Have you thought about hiring maybe piano mover or somebody who has the equipment or strength, right? There's lots of different ways to say no. One of my favorites is by saying yes with boundaries, letting them know early where you stand with things and supplying other options. just did this recently with our youngest child by saying yes and it helped him come up with other solutions, his own solutions. So we do have a program that talks about personalities. And one of the things that I always want to say when I talk about personalities is understanding where that other person is coming from is really important. Daniel Goleman in his work, Emotional Intelligence, talks about 95% of our interpersonal stress being around personality conflicts, meaning just by being you, you can stress out the people around you, or you can misunderstand each other. One of my most, and we don't have enough time to go into this, but one of my most powerful testimonials that I got from Colorful Connections and doing the personality workshop was from a guy that worked in hospice several years ago. And he said, "This helps me understand my mother. My mom was not one of those huggy, cuddly, sweet moms that met you at the door with cookies and milk and hugs. I always thought of my mom as being the ice queen. I thought that she didn't love me. I thought that if she didn't, I can hardly get through this, that she didn't love me and she wasn't proud of me." And he said, "Going through your program made me realize that my mom is an introverted thinking energy, and her way of showing me that she loves me was by making sure that I had food, that I had my clothes ironed and washed and laid out, that I had clear directions in my life by helping me apply to college, by her way of showing me that she loved me was by taking care of me at an intellectual level and at a practical level. She was not the kind of mom that would show up with hugs when I fell. She was the kind of mom that would show up with peroxide and Band-Aids." So my point is, if you need help understanding your folks around you with the personalities, there's a free personality assessment on our website. I encourage you to go take a look at that. Kevin, I wanted to make sure that we mentioned we've got 2 upcoming Excel classes, one in February and one in March. Either sign up at soulcanyon.com or truenorthskills.com. And our next Lunch and Learn, which is March 6th, is going to be Kevin with Engaging with Humor.
Yes, and I'm very much looking forward to that. I have a very special guest, Brian Trendler, who I've known for years, who runs an organization here in the Seattle area called Laugh Tech. And he is going to really talk with me. We're going to have a little bit of a presentation from me, but then I'll be doing a little interview with him, and he's got a little exercise that he will take you all through on ways to effectively use humor in the workplace and on a personal level. And I think it's a really timely and important topic because humor can be so misunderstood, and particularly in situations where we're on Zoom, it can be really misunderstood. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I hope that you'll all go to soulcanyon.com or truenorthskills.com and sign up for that one. And I think it's March 6th at noon. So
March 6th at noon. Does anybody have anything they want to jump in here with before we go? And Stephanie, are you standing on a ladder? Be safe.
I am. I'm in my office and I'm sharing space with my nephew's construction company. So we did some rearranging, and the boys rearranged the printer on a day I wasn't here. And they put it up at a place where I can't see it unless I stand on the step stool. So who was it, Kevin? Were you who made the suggestion, download the file? Bingo, that worked. Whoever it was that suggested
No,
that.
it's Kevin.
So I'm so glad I tuned in today because I got my heart filled with good good vibes and a solution to my technical problem all at the same
Good.
time.
Yay. Kevin's our technical expert.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Kevin, I'll be calling you.
Sounds good, Kevin. What a good name.
I want to thank you guys. This was wonderful. I learned a lot from it. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. This was awesome.
Oh, good, good.
Thanks much, everybody.
So thank you for coming. We'll see you next month. If you have any thoughts or questions, we're always available via email. Just drop us a line real quick and we're happy to answer any questions. And I encourage you to get out to soulcanyon.com and take that personality quiz because it's free and it's fun. But that's just me.
Thank you.
I'll be here
Thanks so
next
much.
time. Thank you guys.
Thank you
good.
All
so
right.
much, guys.
See
Thank
y'all.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Stop the recording.
Oh, yes.